Imagine the cockpit of a gleaming Boeing 747 hurtling through the clouds at 500 miles per hour. Instruments glow, engines hum like a symphony, and the world below shrinks to a patchwork of lights. Everything seems perfect, until it's not. A single misunderstood word, a moment of fatigue, or a split-second hesitation, and paradise becomes pandemonium. Welcome back to Sky Commander, where we unpack the raw truths of aviation. Today, we're tackling one of the most critical yet overlooked aspects of flying, human factors. Why do they matter? Because up to 80% of all aviation accidents stem from human error, not faulty wings or stormy skies, but us. We'll explore what human factors really are, dive into real crashes that prove their deadly impact, and uncover how addressing them has made the skies safer than ever. If you're passionate about aviation safety or just love a good cockpit thriller, hit that like button and stick around. This could save lives, yours included. Let's kick off with a stark reality check. Aviation is the safest mode of transport on the planet. In 2023, for the first time in history, there were 0 fatal commercial jet accidents worldwide, a milestone that's nothing short of miraculous. Yet, behind this triumph lies a sobering truth. Human factors contribute to 70–80% of incidents and accidents. That's not hyperbole. It's data from decades of investigations by bodies like the NTSB and ICAO. Human factors aren't just pilot error scribbled in a report. They're the invisible threads weaving through every flight. Fatigue that fogs judgment, stress that clouds decisions, communication breakdowns that cascade into catastrophe, and even cockpit design flaws that trip up even the sharpest minds. In essence, it's the messy, unpredictable human element colliding with the precision of machines. And in an industry where margins for error are razor-thin, ignoring it is like flying blind. To understand why human factors loom so large, picture the cockpit as a high-stakes orchestra. The pilot is the conductor, but they're juggling a symphony of inputs. Radar blips, radio chatter, weather feeds, and passenger needs, all while hurtling through the atmosphere at speeds that would vaporize a car. Our brains, evolved for saber-toothed tigers, not Mach 0.8, can falter under pressure. Psychologists break human factors into 4 buckets. Organizational influences like company culture or training gaps. Environmental stresses such as turbulence or time zones. Personal factors including health or experience. And team dynamics, where hierarchy stifles open talk. It's a Swiss cheese model, as safety expert James Reason called it. Holes in each layer align rarely, but when they do, disaster strikes. And in aviation, those alignments have rewritten history far too often. Take the Tenerife Disaster of 1977, the deadliest aviation accident ever, claiming 583 lives in mere seconds. 2 Boeing 747s, one from KLM, the other Pan Am, collided on a foggy runway at Los Rodeos Airport in Spain's Canary Islands. The weather was bad, the airport overcrowded after a bombing diversion, but the real killer, human factors in triplicate. Captain Jacob Veldhuizen van Zanten, KLM's poster boy with 11,000 hours under his belt, was under immense pressure. Delays meant his crew was at the end of their duty limit. He couldn't afford another flight swap. When air traffic control said, "Okay," to confirm position, not takeoff clearance, Van Zanten assumed the green light and throttled up. His co-pilot hesitated but deferred to the captain's authority, a classic authority gradient where juniors fear speaking up. Meanwhile, Pan Am's crew, lost in the fog, missed their taxiway exit and lingered on the runway. A frantic radio warning from Pan Am, "We're still on the runway," drowned in engine noise and static. 5 seconds later, impact, fireball, oblivion. Investigations pinned it squarely on communication ambiguity, fatigue-fueled impatience, and a culture where captains were gods. No single villain, just human holes aligning fatally. Fast forward to 1985, and United Airlines Flight 173 offers another gut-wrenching lesson in fatigue's grip. En route from Washington, D.C. to Los Angeles, the DC-8 began circling Portland, Oregon for a landing gear check. A warning light flickered, suggesting the gear might not deploy. Captain Malburn, Bud McBroom, a veteran fixated on troubleshooting, losing track of time and fuel. His first officer and flight engineer raised concerns. We've been up here a long time, but McBroom brushed them off, deep in the weeds of the problem. By the time they realized they were bingo fuel, it was too late. The plane glided silently into a suburban field, killing 10 of 189 aboard. The NTSB report? Crew resource management failure, exacerbated by exhaustion from a grueling schedule. McBroom had pulled a 14-hour day prior, and the team was frayed. This wasn't incompetence, it was human frailty amplified by a system that prioritized fixes over basics, like fuel watches. These aren't ancient relics. Human factors bite today. In 2024, the FAA flagged over 1,500 runway incursions, near misses where planes nearly collide on the tarmac, largely due to controller fatigue and signage confusion. And in general aviation, where small planes rule, pilot error accounts for 75% of crashes, often from spatial disorientation or decision lapses in bad weather. Globally, ICAO's 2024 safety report notes that while fatal accidents hit a record low, human elements like loss of situational awareness still lurk in 60% of occurrences. The common thread: we're not robots. Our vigilance wanes after 18 hours awake. Stress spikes cortisol that impairs cognition, and cultural norms, like in hierarchical Asian cockpits, can mute vital warnings. So, why does this matter now more than ever? Because aviation's golden age of tech, AI autopilots, predictive analytics, drone swarms, can't outrun the human wildcard. Sure, engines are 99.999% reliable, but if the pilot misreads a gauge or a controller nods off, it all crumbles. Human factors aren't just accident causes. They're safety saviors when addressed. Post-Tenerife, the industry birthed Crew Resource Management, CRM, a training revolution that empowers teams to challenge authority politely. What do you think? Became a cockpit mantra, slashing error chains. Studies show CRM cut US airline accidents by 50% in the 1990s alone. Today, it's mandatory worldwide, blended with tech like fatigue monitoring wearables and AI co-pilots that flag distractions. Look at the numbers. From 1959 to 2023, the global accident rate plummeted 99%, from one crash per million flights to one every 10 million, largely thanks to human-centered design. Cockpits now feature intuitive interfaces, reducing mode confusion, where pilots misinterpret automation. Airlines mandate rest cycles, and regulators enforce just culture reporting, where admitting slips leads to fixes, not firings. In 2025, as we eye urban air mobility, eVTOL taxis buzzing cities, human factors will be king. Will passengers trust a drone pilot sipping coffee remotely, or demand biofeedback loops to ensure focus? But it's not all progress. Challenges persist. The pilot shortage, exacerbated by COVID, means greener crews facing steeper curves. Mental health stigma silences stressed aviators, and automation dependency breeds skill fade, where pilots forget manual flying. Enter the future. NASA's research into neuroergonomics uses EEG headsets to detect drowsiness in real time, while Europe's CSAR program integrates VR sims for stress inoculation. Sustainable aviation fuels cut emissions, but without human oversight, they're worthless. The lesson: tech amplifies us, but only if we train the amplifier. In wrapping this up, human factors remind us that aviation isn't about conquering the skies. It is about harmonizing with them. We're the weak link and the strongest fix. From Tenerife's ashes rose CRM, turning tragedy into triumph. From United 173's fields, vigilance over vigilance. As we board our next flight, remember, safety isn't a gadget, it's a mindset. Thanks for soaring with Sky Commander. If this hit home, drop a comment. What's the scariest human error story you've heard? Smash like, subscribe for more aviation insights, and turn on notifications. We're just getting airborne. Blue skies ahead.